manage time. I mean, imagine this is something that we cannot manage. I'm just starting out. I cannot delegate. Understood. So in that case, you need to be doing things that you are super passionate. You could always argue that, oh, I'm an empath, people, 100,000 people dying is a big deal for me. But reality, people often do not get depression or anxious or stressed about, oh my gosh, Japan had an earthquake. Let's get into a few soul models on this topic. So soul model 10, you cannot manage time. You can only manage emotions. People talk about time management, right? Oh, how do you manage time? I mean, imagine this is something that we cannot manage. It goes by the speed in which it wants, and we just show up. The only thing that we could manage is our emotion. So I'll explain this with an example, right? So imagine the most charismatic person that you know in your life. Could you write down the most charismatic person in your life? A total boring person in your life, the most boring person in life. This person like bores you to death, right? So imagine that, the most charismatic person and the most boring person. Yeah, you got it? Okay, so imagine that you're spending 30 minutes with this most charismatic person in the world, like the person that you admire. Maybe you don't even know him, but you know about him or her, and you're spending 30 minutes with this person. What does that feel like? It feels like time is going by really fast. You feel like time is disappearing. Like it feels like it's only 10 minutes. Now go to the boring person like in your life, like if there is a boring person in your life or person that you know who's boring. Imagine you're talking to this person. And now what does time feel like? It is dragging and dragging and dragging, and time is going, and every second you're looking at your watch every like 3 seconds, and you're changing into a different direction. You're trying to say something, that person has never stopped talking. Yeah. What's the difference here? It's the same 30 minutes. It's a difference in emotion that you're feeling. So this is what we are going to unpack today. When you are in love with what you do, and when you have skill in what you do, when you can create a big impact using what you do, and when you're able to make a lot of money with what you do, then it's like spending time with that charismatic person. Time goes by. That's how we do it. We manage our emotions so that we get more productive. If there's one thing that you need to understand today, other than the 17 other things that you need to understand, one of the most important things that we need to understand today is this metaphor. You only manage emotions. You don't manage time. The more efficient you are in managing emotions, more efficient and more result oriented you would be. Moving on. Soul model number 11, work only on things that you're passionate about and what you're remarkable at. Delegate everything else. Now, you're listening to this and now you're thinking, you know what? I don't have a lot of money. I'm just starting out. I cannot delegate. Understood. So in that case, you need to be doing the things that you are super passionate about. At least you are extra passionate about it because you are beginning, you're starting out. Because of that, you're extra passionate at it. Barring that exception, everyone else, figure out a way to delegate. Like, if you feel like you can delegate to somebody else, if somebody else can do this, just give it to them. And there are people from all over the world who are looking for work. You could get people for $2, $3 per hour to do things that you are not remarkable at, you are not passionate about. So find somebody from Philippines, from India, from Ethiopia, somebody who can speak your language and do stuff for you, and delegate everything else other than the things that you are passionate about. So model number 12, your mind is the worst productivity tool in the world. This is really important. If you're managing your product, I mean, people ask me, what is the best tool for productivity? There are so many tools you could use, but one tool that you shouldn't be using is your mind. So your mind is the worst productivity tool in the world, right? So there was a comment saying, okay, you need to be ethical about delegating. So the person who is from Ethiopia, getting $3 is the best thing that person could probably be getting, right? So that is like higher than that. So yes, we need to be ethical about delegation, but we will talk about the ethical side of it in a future session. The reality, yes, of course, we need to be responsible. We don't need to take advantage of people. We need to give them opportunities that are bigger than what is available to them right now. And that is perfectly fine. Okay, so your mind is the worst productivity tool in the world, the worst one, right? So we need to step out of that mind. And I'm going to explain that in a different way. So if you don't plan, your shadows are planning your day. So it's part of that. Think about it. Your shadows are like, oh, today's the time to be depressed. Today's time to be anxious. So your shadows are like, okay, you don't plan. Okay, I'll plan it for you. It's going to take over your emotions and plan your day and tell you, hey, today we could just watch Netflix or Hulu or like watch some YouTube and just spend some day and then that's it. Right. So I want to add one concept here, which is subjective versus objective, in terms of mind being the worst productive tool in the world. So imagine there is something that you're really tensed about, like something that you're really stressed and anxious about, and that's in your head right now probably. And imagine that problem. Now think about an earthquake in Japan. Japan has like major earthquakes happening because of their physical location. And there are some earthquakes where 100,000 people died, like, very, very large number of people died. And now imagine it is 100,000 people are dying. Now, on the other side, there is something that you're nervous about. Which one is more important for you? You could always argue that, oh, I'm an empath, 100,000 people dying is a big deal for me. But reality, people often do not get depression or anxious or stressed about, oh my gosh, Japan had an earthquake and then 100,000 people died from that. Oh my gosh, that is giving me depression. Oftentimes, a small cut on our nail, a small cut on our finger is more impactful for most of us than a major event outside. What does that mean? What it means is whatever that is in our head are the things that are stressing us. So what does that mean? It means that everything needs to come out of your head. If you're planning something in your head, then you're already stressed, no matter how good it is. So nowadays, we have like hundreds of things to do in terms of life, in terms of business, taking care of kids, taking care of other people, myself. And because of that, because we have so many things in our head, that itself is stressing it out. So we need to get it objective. We need to get it out of our head. That's what we're going to do today and for the rest of our lives. We don't want it to be subjective in our head. So a thing that is in our head will stress us more than a Japanese earthquake for most people. I know for some people it might not be true, but for most people. Makes sense? Now, next point. There are only two types of actions that you must be working on. Just two types of actions. This is a freedom for you if you're listening to it in a very attentive way, because this gives you freedom. Two types of things. One, highest income activities. Highest income activities. And we are going to unpack this in a second. Highest income activities. I call them intelligent actions. Okay. Now, the second one is highest impact activities. I call them inspired actions. So highest income activities, highest impact activities. These are the only things that we need to be working on 90% of the time. Intelligent actions, inspired actions. Okay, soul model 13, your results are directly proportional. Now I had put two things. I'm gonna keep this like exactly like this without anything. Your results are directly proportional to the extent of rejuvenation you have. Okay, so you got it.